Greetings. Today we'll look at how human beings develop moral reasoning during their lives. We will look at this aspect of human development through the eyes of researchers Lawrence Kohlberg and Gilligan, both Harvard researchers. We'll also look at an integration of their ideas provided by philosopher-psychologist Ken Wilber. But first, some background. It helps one to have clear models upon which to reflect in making reasoned choices. Most people have ethical models and frameworks in place inculcated by a combination of family, culture, and religious teachers. Yet our reactive behaviors and normal responses seem to be more determined by age than by abstract ethical models. Why is this so? I'm sure that most of us can recall how our attitudes and behaviors progress through childhood, and how behaviors at one stage of life were no longer valid at another. Child development theorists and psychologists have attempted to describe these stages in our youth. They've also sought to develop methodologies that assist us to move through these stages. Jean Piaget and William James are two of the early pioneers who researched human development theories. Piaget's cognitive development theory is a comprehensive theory about the nature and development of human intelligence. He believed that early childhood plays a significant role in a person's development. He was most interested in how one comes to acquire, construct, and use knowledge. His work, along with Maria Montessori, has been a major influence on early childhood education and alternative hands-on open education. An earlier researcher in human development, William James, trained as a physician and later became a psychologist and philosopher. Many believe that he was the most influential philosopher this country ever produced, and he is regarded by many to be the father of modern psychology. Most of us know the often used expression, stream of consciousness, which he originated. Yes, his writings regarding emotions, tolerance, the will, the reconciliation of science and religion, and the feelings of the divine that are experienced in solitude are his essential contributions. James and Piaget's theories provide a continuum of information from early childhood education to advanced states of consciousness. These ideas inspired Harvard professor Lawrence Kohlberg to research and devise his theory of moral development. Kohlberg assumed that human beings are internally motivated to learn and to broaden their views as they interact with their external environment. He believed, since society's collective development was a function of the individual's development, that the same moral development could be effectively incorporated in society through moral reasoning. You and I serve as witnesses to the ups and downs of this process in our daily lives. At times of great stress, it might not appear to be working. I maintain my sanity by taking a long-term view. As you recall, Maslow's hierarchy focused on basic human needs, whereas Kohlberg's research shows a pattern of stages of moral development. Moral, the use of the word moral here, implies doing the right thing. And this plays out in different ways at different ages. Each of Kohlberg's 6 stages were associated with a specific period in the development of one's life. He found that while one can be aware of his current stage of development, it was difficult for him to understand more than one level beyond his current experience. Kohlberg described 3 levels of relationship that are fundamental to human development. The first level, pre-conventional, exists when children are at an age when they're just learning rules and limits. To provide safety and security for the child, it is necessary to establish authority and obedience. People at this level tend to be self-centered. The second level, conventional, is when generally accepted behaviors in a society are learned. It is when children and young adults learn to live in a civil society with rules. People at this level tend to be group-centered. The third level, post-conventional, is when adults learn to be independent, high-level thinkers who can reason in terms of universal principles. People at this level tend to be truth-centered. Kohlberg's 6 stages of moral development, or stages of moral reasoning, are: Stage 1, physical. This occurs from ages 1 through 3. A child is responsive to rules and authority figures. One's behavior determines whether he is good or bad. Good will be rewarded, bad will be punished. Stage 2, instrumental. Morality becomes a marketplace mentality. You scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. Some people never go beyond this. Certainly you can see this in political deal making. Stage 3, approval. Being moral based on what others might think. Wanting to be deemed as a good boy or a good girl. Stage 4, dutiful. 5th grade through high school. Being moral for family, team, country, church. Showing respect for authority, maintaining order, nationalism, and patriotism are results. Stage 5, contractual. High school through early adulthood. However, some people never reach it. Stage 5 is doing things because they are in everybody's interest. A democratic society with rights and responsibilities. Ability to change that which does not serve society. This is the graduate level of social conscience. Stage 6, transcendence. Only reached by a few. It's characterized by high-level thinkers, motivated by intrinsic rewards, concerned with issues of justice, human rights, and dignity, governed by higher universal principles. Carol Gilligan was a graduate student of Lawrence Kohlberg. She accepted the theory that individuals develop principles of moral reasoning in stages as their lives progress. She disagreed, however, with her mentor's assessment of the content of these stages. Kohlberg's system looked at issues that people face from the point of view of justice. Gilligan, on the other hand, looked at issues that people face from the point of view of caring. Gilligan believed that women place a stronger emphasis on caring in moral decision-making than by emphasizing justice. She thought that Kohlberg limited the women's perspective. She conjectured that this was why women had often failed to reach Kohlberg's higher stages of moral reasoning in his initial research. She noticed that male psychologists before Kohlberg had found that women tended to stay attached to their mothers, which led some researchers to see women in a lesser light than men. Gilligan's own research subjects were dealing with critical feminine issues, that is, whether to get an abortion at a time when it was illegal. These women were making momentous decisions about their lives. She concluded that the women she was working with were far more concerned with caring than with a sense of justice. She asserted that women were not inferior in their personal or moral development, but they were just different. She laid out her concerns in a book entitled In a Different Voice, Psychological Theory and Women's Development. Harvard Press published an initial run of a few hundred books, not anticipating that the book would touch a chord in women and be successful. It became an overnight sensation in a highly charged 1980s feminine movement era and sold over 700,000 copies worldwide. Gilligan's emphasis on gender differences, however, has been criticized by some feminists who argue that focusing on differences between men and women can serve as a justification for ongoing inequality. Kohlberg did agree with Gilligan that caring and thinking were both involved in moral reasoning, although he disagreed that men and women arrived at moral reasoning in different ways. Gilligan produced her own moral development theory for women, and like Kohlberg's, it had 3 major divisions: pre-conventional, post-conventional, and conventional. At the conventional level, her theory emphasized that changes between stages were produced by a change in a sense of self, rather than on changes in cognitive ability. While Piaget was the historical source for Kohlberg's work, Gilligan based her approach on a modified version of Freud's ego development. Her body of work raised important questions about male-centered bias in psychology and the importance of considering gender in social-based environments. It also raised the issue that there could be multiple models of moral reasoning. All of this was important in fostering a rich academic climate that considers all points of view to stimulate academic fairness and rigor. However, after considerable research following the release of Gilligan's book, most psychologists now agree that men and women do not differ in their moral reasoning in this way. Several research studies, many by women, have now found that both men and women use justice and care in moral reasoning. Note, however, that the word caring has become part of the vernacular, so there's been progress. To his credit, philosopher and psychologist Ken Wilber takes a more inclusive and holistic approach when it comes to viewing Gilligan's contribution to the conversation about stages in human development. He integrated both Kohlberg's and Gilligan's contributions into one cohesive model with 4 stages, and thus transcended the controversy. Level 1, behavior at the egocentric stage. Behavior at the egocentric stage is selfish, self-centered, and narcissistic, based on individual survival. Infants start at this level of awareness. It's all about me would be the watchword. Level 2, post-conventional. Behavior at the ethnocentric stage. Care extends from self, me, to entire group, us. Sharp divisions between family, clan, tribe, nation, religion, politics, and all other groups. It creates an us versus them mentality that can be racist, sexist, homophobic, and xenophobic. It's harshly authoritarian. Behavior at the world-centric stage is based on universal care. Care that extends from one's group to all other groups, global or human-centered. The motto is to treat all people fairly, regardless of race, creed, color, sexual preference, or gender. One follows the principles of nonviolence. Don't hurt others. Level 3, integrated. Behavior at the cosmic-centered stage. Note that Wilber uses cosmic spelled with a K for spiritual concerns and cosmic spelled with a C for the planets and the stars. Awareness goes from all beings to all sentient beings. Sentient beings are living beings. In other words, all life. The cosmic centered stage integrates the masculine and feminine into a united self, thereby producing full human beings. We're all challenged to grow and develop over the course of our lives. We'll see in the next webinar that one's stages of growth are not only an individual's path, but as students of history and anthropology have noted, the stages are also found in the way that civilization progresses. This approach not only maps out an individual approach to conscious change, but it can become a roadmap for social change. Tune in next time to view the exciting work of 2 giants in the field of human development, pioneer Jean Gebser and leading edge thinker Ken Wilber. Thank you.